name is Joy Davis. I'm part owner of My Walk is Different. I'm here with
India
and
Marcus.
And I just thought that they had real dope stories, and I feel like that was worthy for them to have a My Walk is Different interview. So I'm kind of bringing them together now, and this is the first time where I did a multiple person interview, but we all tied into this one thing, and we have a story that we have to tell. So I want to start out by telling my story that connects us all, which is me getting into a situation where I broke my ankle, and I had to go get surgery and go through the process of healing and walking again, and just using muscles that haven't been used in a long time. I was on bed rest for about 5 to 6 months, and we all share that. Like, we all have an experience where we had to get away from life and be restricted to a bed for a certain amount of time, and somebody taking care of us, somebody helping us on a day-to-day, and that's not normal for a lot of people. And for me, I got strength in that, leaning on somebody, and also just figuring out in my life that things happen, and sometimes you don't know, of course, how life happens, and that doesn't mean that you don't have to stand up and get past it. So we all have been there, and I just want to give them the floor to kind of say what their story is and what they need to get off their chest, and I'm gonna start off with y'all.
All right, well, I'm Chop. I already said my name is Marcus. I'm Chop. Also owner of Shop by Chop Photography. Pretty much, I had an accident where I was rear-ended and pushed into a pole. When the accident first happened, everything seemed like it was okay. I felt tingling in my leg though, so I was like, all right, that might just be adrenaline rushing or whatever like that. So I go to open the door, and I go to get out the car, and as I go to get out the car, my right leg just didn't move. So at that moment, I was like, okay, like what's going on with my leg? So I grab my leg and I try to bring it out the car, and I take like 2 to 3 steps, and I realize I have no strength in my right leg. So I almost fell. Didn't even see this other car had pulled up, and this older guy got out the car, and he ran up to me and he grabbed me, and I just didn't say nothing to him. I just like couldn't believe what was going on or whatever like that. So he's like, all right, let's get you off the street. So we walked towards the sidewalk. We kind of limped more towards the sidewalk. And I'm looking at my car, and I'm upset about my car because I love my car at the time. I had a Mustang. I loved it. It was my first car. I put so much money into that car. Like, I love that car. So I'm sitting there, and he's like, man, you bleeding and everything. I'm like, I'm bleeding? Like, where's blood coming from? And I looked, and I had like a gash in my hand where blood was just flowing out. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So like, let me not put this blood on you. So I'm also facing the street. My left foot was facing forward, but my right foot was going that way. So at that moment, I was like, oh, my leg is broke. I'm like, oh, my leg is broke. So I'm just like, he's like, all right, well, we ain't gonna move. I'm like, I'm not, because my leg is broke. Like, I'm not moving. Like, but it's just like, at the time, I didn't think that my leg was broke at all. I was just like, what's going on with my leg? Well, at first. So then the paramedics get there, and they're asking me what happened. I run the story past them. The people that hit me kept going, so it was a hit and run accident. I remember the headlights, I remember the type of vehicle it was, the color of the vehicle, all that. I get to the ambulance or whatever like that, and I look, at the time my phone wasn't on, so I had signal only in Wi-Fi. So I get Wi-Fi in the ambulance, I don't know how, but I guess they got all the monitors and stuff in there, so they have to have Wi-Fi. So I text the group chat, like, hey, I got into a car accident, I'm okay, or whatever like that. So then they rushed me to the hospital. They asked me, when I first got to the accident, the guy asked me to call the cops. I said, no, just call my mama. I was like, she know what to do. Just call my mama. I'm right down the street. So I get to the hospital, and everything from there just kind of went really fast. Like, they went from like rolling me back. They went to like them cutting my pants leg, like my pants off, and I'm just like, yo, what's going on? Like, and it was my favorite jogging pants too. I'm sick. I was my favorite size. I was so sick. I'm like, yo, we could have worked it out where I could have got these off. Like, no, for real. I'm proud. I'm to this day, I'm still mad about them jogging. Those were my black and red Nike jogging pants. I got so many pictures in those. But as they doing all this and they hooking me up and asking me questions, I'm like, yo, did y'all call my mama? Like call my mama, like for real. Cause it's like 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever at this time. So I'm like, call my mama. So they rolled me back to take x-rays, and lady back there kind of gave me a little tough time because she kept trying to get me to roll one to the side that I started feeling pain on, and I'm like, which is my right side. And I'm like, no, like, so then I'm like, can I get some more pain medicine or something like that? So they was like, yeah, we can see, we can get you some more. I don't know the time they gave you the first one, so they gave me some more. And as soon as I took it, she was like, all right, so you ready to roll over? No, like, it don't work that fast. I don't care what you just gave me. So they go through, get the x-rays and everything like that, and then they take me from the x-rays, and I actually recorded this part. They are, so as I'm in this one room, I don't know where I'm at in the hospital for real. I'm in this one room, and it's a bunch of people around me, a lot of people doing different things. And so I asked them, like, can I record this? Like, with my phone? They was like, yeah, we can get your phone. So they got my phone, so I'm recording my hand. As I'm recording my hand, in the background, I see somebody with a drill, like an actual drill, and they're drilling into, like, my knee. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, and so pretty much they had to make weight in my femur because I had broke my femur. So they had to make weight in there, so they had to, like, put chains to it and connect it to, like, some weights that was hanging off the end of the bed, so my leg is up. And I'm still like, what is going on? And I remember I felt it, but I didn't feel it. It was like pretty much my leg was numb. So I feel that like them drilling something, but I'm just like, yo, that's a real drill. Like you're really drilling into my leg. Like that's crazy. So they push me back around the corner where I'm gonna be stationed at for a second before I go to surgery. And my mama is up there at this point, and she told me, she said, as soon as I seen your foot, she was like, I knew. I was like, that's my son. So I'm like, I'm still thinking I'm okay. Like it's nothing. Like I'm just gonna accident or whatever like that.
On top of that, but go ahead.
Yeah, probably. My feet ain't ugly. I just thought about that. I got two bad big toes from playing basketball. That's it. My feet straight though. Anyways, so I get back there and they pretty much tell me like, yeah, you've broke your femur and you fractured your pelvis. And I'm just like, huh? Like, no, like I'm straight. So then they was like, yeah, we're gonna have to have surgery immediately, all this and that. I was like, surgery? Like, no, whoa, like this is crazy. Like, I can go home and be straight, like I'm good. So they're like, no, we have to have surgery, all this and that. And so my mom at that point, she kind of looking like her eyes get big, and I'm just like, she started like getting teary-eyed, and I'm like, hey, stop. Like, we good. Like, we good. I promise you we good. So she's like, all right. So the first thing I was like, yo, how long can I not play basketball for? Like, that's one of the biggest things I always ask, like when I could get an injury or whatever like that. But they're like, yeah, you're gonna be out for some time.
Yeah.
So I go into surgery. All I remember them doing is moving me from one bed to another. And as soon as my back hit that cold table, I seen a picture on the wall and I was gone. Next thing you know, I woke up. People were in my room, and I told them, I said, y'all too loud. And they kind of looked like, oh, I went right back out. Like I was right back out. Then I woke up again, and then when I woke up again, that's when I was kind of up for a minute or whatever like that, and I was like socializing. But like I remember like waking up and seeing a room full with people. Like every time I passed out and went back to sleep. Every time I woke up, it was like more people in the room. And like I remember D was there, you was there. I remember D had the ball so hard hoodie crew neck on. Diamond had like a Spider-Man shirt with a bandana. I remember Greg. Brandon, I just remember seeing like all these people, and I'm just like, I want to be up and like interact and like tell them what's going on, like I'm okay and everything, but it was just like, I didn't have the strength to do it. So when I finally came to it and I was actually up, whatever like that, I kind of just was like looking like, and they asked me, I remember the nurse or whoever came in the room was like, can you move I couldn't move my leg at all. Like I had zero mobility in my leg at all. I couldn't move up, I couldn't even flinch the muscle to move it up, like it was nothing there. And at that point I got scared because I'm like, I was able to move before the surgery, like, why can't I do nothing now? And they had told me, they was like, yeah, what we did was we had to put a metal rod in your femur. You have screws down here at the bottom. You have another screws in the middle. You have more screws up here. You have 3 screws going through your hip. And I'm just like, what? Like, I'm confused. Like, why? Like, what is going on? Like, couldn't it just grow back and be healed? He's like, what's going to help the healing process? All this and that. And I'm just like, do I gotta get this taken out? And it was like, well, the screws you can actually get taken out, or you can just get like, it sticks out like about this much, and you can get that just shaved off if it bothers you. Most athletes do, because it may get caught on like muscle tissue and everything like that. And I'm just like, all right. So they was like, can you wiggle your toes? And I was like, yeah, I can wiggle my toes. Like, I can do that. And they was like, oh, you're gonna be okay. I'm like, all right, this is tripping. It's tripping me out. So, next day go by, whatever like that, and I'm starting to heal. I feel like immediately, like I promise you, like it felt crazy. But at first I had to realize, like I had everybody in my room all the time during this process, to the point where the moment everybody stepped out into the hallway for like a quick second, it probably was about 25 seconds. I sat there and I looked at myself. I'm like, boy, you really messed up right now. I'm like, that's crazy. And I was like, well, you got two options. You can either sit here and just dwell in it and just be like, oh, I can't do nothing, I'm messed up, or you can do something about it. And the moment I sat there and thought about it, I'm like, oh, you were really messed up. And I was about to start crying. My eyes got watering. So go ahead, cry, but let's not sit in this stuff. Like, let's kind of like find a solution and start moving past it. So the way I'm a little bit more harsh on myself. So I kind of be like, no, let's go. Like, come on, like, let's go. And immediately, like, I used to always say every day when I was in the hospital, I used to be like, thank you, God, for waking me up and being stronger than I was yesterday. And I literally felt that. Like, I literally felt that I was getting, like, as I was sitting there, I remember one time Brandon was there, we was watching the playoffs, we was watching Boston versus Washington, and he had came, whatever like that, and I literally was sitting there, and I felt, like, my leg tingling the whole entire time, and I'm just like, yo, I feel like I'm literally getting healed right here, like, this is crazy. And even the doctors in there, like, they all said, like, we've never seen nobody heal on the pace that you're on, and like, they was telling me, yeah, you probably won't be getting out of the hospital before Mother's Day, because it happened April 24th. It was like, you probably won't be getting out of the hospital before Mother's Day. You have to go through therapy and everything like that. And I asked my mama, I said, what do you want me to do? I was like, what do you want for Mother's Day? She was like, you asking about the wrong things. Like, I just want you to, heal up, get out of this hospital, we can go home. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get out of here before Mother's Day. And she was like, I mean, don't rush and, hurt yourself. And I'm like, I got this, I'm good. Like, don't rush yourself, I'm good. So I ended up getting out of the hospital before Mother's Day or whatever like that. Like I said, therapy, I got videos and everything. I kind of went through that, like, as far as learning how to walk again and everything like that. Like, I felt like I honestly was not human. Like, I don't know what it was. I know what it was, but it was just like, it scared me, but I loved it. Like, I love feeling like I knew that I was healing in that process. Like, I felt it. Like, I legit felt it. Nobody can tell me that I did not feel that. Like, I say, even the doctors and nurses and therapists, all of them said the same exact thing. Like, this is crazy. Like, we've never seen this. So, I pretty much, I got out of the hospital. Like I said, before Mother's Day, getting in the car was difficult. And then became a mental game with me because I'm always like helping people. I'm always doing stuff. I'm always active. I'm always here, there. Like, I'm getting up, I'm going. And I literally had to just sit down. Like, I couldn't lift my leg up high enough for them to put a nickel under. Like, I had zero mobility. I couldn't lift it, anything like that. So they was like, try to I remember they used to tell me exercises. They used to say, like, just like when you're laying down, try to just lift your leg. I'm like, I can't. They was like, just try to like remember the muscle you use to lift it. I'm just like, so I'm doing this leg, like, okay, that's what I do. I'm like, so how can I do it with this one? And it's like, nothing is happening. And then I started getting like little twitches. And it was like, okay, it's working. Like, just keep doing that. But like I said, it started being a mental game once I got home because I had to then realize that somebody had to take care of me. Somebody had to do stuff for me. And I was real angry at that time. It was a real angry moment in my life because I was just like, everything going on, and I'm like, no, I got it. Like, I got it. And I'm just like, I don't. Like, it was literally out of my hands. There was nothing I could do. So, shout out to Christina. She was there every step of the way, took care of me, really got me back on my feet. She's also pretty much the reason why Shot by Chop is a thing now. She put the camera in my hand. And throughout that whole process, I had to thank God. Like, thank you for like pulling me through this. Thank you for, and I honestly sat there and I was like, it's really, I have a kind of a messed up way of thinking sometimes. I literally sat there and was like, no, I'm not glad it happened, but if anybody that it happened to out of my friends, I'm glad it happened to me. Yeah, I was like, because I felt like I was the
perfect person.
Yeah, like situational wise and mentally wise. Like, I feel like if somebody else would have had that, I feel like it would have went a different way. The outcome would have been different. They would have been a different person at the end of the day. With me, I had the mental toughness I felt to go through that and to come out on top of this or whatever like that.
The crazy part about that is when I went through that, I said the same thing. I said I'm glad that it was me. And then as crazy as a few months after that, not even a few months. No, that was the next year. I think that you had gotten your accident. No,
it was me, you, and Neo was down at the same time playing the game. Like, we was all kind of down at one point. Like, oh.
So it's crazy how I said that, and then that same year, a few months later, you witnessed, the same thing, and then Neil, of course, we all going through that. But that's crazy. That's crazy. So I want to ask you though, like, what was the hardest part about the accident?
I would probably say that afterwards, like the healing afterwards, like even up to this day, like everything from like me being done with therapy and then having to live everyday life, like up until this day, it was to the point where like one day I couldn't put my sock on for the longest, like on my right leg, my right foot, I couldn't put my sock on. So what I used to have to do, I used to have my mama put it on, or anybody that pull up, I would have them put it on, so I know like, okay, I'm done with everything else, so I'm ready for the day with this one sock on. Like I could put a shoe on, I could just put some slides on, and I could put some pants on, but I couldn't get the sock on. So I'm like, with the sock, I'm good. So it was just like learning how to do everyday things again, and then being down on myself because I can't do them the way I used to. Even when I started back hooping, like doing certain moves, I just lose the ball, or like stuff. Even like right now, stuff feels different when I do it. And I'm like, I used to do this every day, like all the time. Like now, it's difficult. So whenever I'm like at work or I'm doing something and I feel pain, and I'm never gonna make excuses of why like I can't do something. It's like, no, I can do it. Like I can do it. So that will probably be the toughest, because like out of all the injuries I've had, this one lasted the longest. And it's like I said, it's like every day. Like I notice it every day. It's to the point where like, when people used to ask me like, are you in pain today? I was like, no. It was like I felt pain for so many days in a row and for so many years. It's like I don't think it hurt no more. Like it's just I feel something there, but it's not pain. Like I don't know, but it like sometimes it'll legit be painful. And it's just like I've dealt with it so long, it almost became like accustomed to it. So I think that would be the hardest thing that I have to deal with due to the accident.
So would you say would you say up to date, that's the hardest thing in your life that you had like overcome?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I noticed it because a lot of stories that I talk, like when I talk to people, even if it's dealing with relationships or dealing with like mental or dealing with like overcoming obstacles, I always go to that. Like and I'm like, stop going to that. But I'm like, it's kind of the biggest one that happens. So it's like, you know.
And people can feel that when you, one thing about when you telling your story to somebody, they can tell if you just talking just to talk.
Oh yeah.
But then you talking about something that you actually can feel, that you actually went through. Cause I use it a lot. When people ask me about perseverance and getting through a time that I thought was hard, I bring back that, because if you're one of those people that's used to like doing things on your own and having to like rely on other people, and you don't want to be a burden to other people. Like I'm one of those people that I don't want to be a burden to nobody. So asking you, wash me up, cook me, drive, put my clothes on. One day I woke up out the bed, I forgot that I had a hard cast on. I just fell to the floor. So they helped me up off the floor. Like,
did your dreams used to mess with you?
I had dreams.
Like
I had dreams that I could walk again.
Man, I was riding a bike. I was running. I was in high school on a fast break and had a dunk. And every time, bro, I promise you, every time, and I remember my dreams, like, every time I would twitch, like, in my dream, and I'd jump, and when I jump, it'd be painful. And I'd be like, oh, and I'd wake up, and then I'd wake up when I'm wet, and they'd be like, you okay, what's going on? I'm like, I'm in so much pain right now, because I just twitched out of my dream, but.
I think, matter of fact, I got one more question for you, then I'm gonna go ahead and explain this up. Do you blame yourself for what happened?
No.
You don't?
No. I mean, I at one point I thought like maybe it's karma, like from like past events in life. And I'm like, what if it was and this is a reset? Cool. But it was like I don't blame myself. I thought like at certain points, like, why didn't I just speed up? Why didn't I? It was no traffic on the left side of the road. Like, why didn't I just speed up, go over there, instead of like trying to get out their way, the legal way, and just get into the next lane? Like, I'm like, why didn't I do this? Why did I like when I had a split second of when I went off the road. I had a split second. I seen a pole. I seen the actual pole that I hit, and then I seen like bushes and like the trees and stuff like that. But I also seen the houses, and I'm like, I didn't know. I felt like I was going fast, out of control. So I'm like, I wasn't going 30 miles per hour. But when I got hit, I felt like I was going like faster. I don't know what. So I'm like, why didn't I just swerve to the right and just go into the bushes? Like everything would have been okay. And I'm just like, it didn't happen. So no, I don't blame myself though.
For sure. Okay, so I want to go over to India now, and I chose to have India tell her story last because she was in 2 accidents. So I kind of want her to tell about the first one, and then I want you to tell about the second one. I'm intermission in between the 2 because I want to ask questions about the first time versus the second time. But after you finish the first one, then I'll continue with the question.
Okay. Hi guys, my name is India. I am a first assistant in the operating room, which is so crazy because the surgeries that we all are talking about, I literally have been inside the operating room and have helped the surgeons do the surgeries that we've all 3 had. So that's crazy. Even to the point where, before I go into the story, the reason why I wanted to do surgical tech and all of that is because of my first surgery. When I looked at my scars, I got the same scar. I mean, the same rod in my leg, screws. I got the same thing Chop got. But back then, I was like, I want to be a surgical tech because I want to know how did y'all get that metal rod in my leg with only a little scar, only a little scar on the side. How did it get in there? And that's why I wanted to do surgical tech in the first place. But my first accident, I was 17, and my friend was at the house, and my mom was like, okay, I do not want you driving in the car with her. She just got her license. She was like, dude, I don't want to catch you in the car no more. I'm like, okay. So literally the next day, it was Monday, and I told her, I was like, come get me, being defiant. Do not being defiant. I'm like, come get me. You know, when you're in high school, you don't want to ride the bus.
Facts.
You know, so I'm like, come get me, girl. So she came anyway. And I remember I had on my favorite outfit, y'all. I was cute. I put on my favorite outfit, and I got in the car with her. We drove out of the subdivision. She was driving, obviously. We drove out the subdivision. We went right to the intersection, and she was making a left turn. So it was a red blinking light for her, and it was a yellow light for the oncoming traffic. So she did not stop. Of course, a red blinking light, you're supposed to stop. People think you could just go in and go, but you gotta stop. That's what a blinking light is. But she just got her license, so she got in the lane, made that left turn, and the oncoming traffic, he sped up because it was a yellow light. Straight up hit me. But the thing was, I didn't see it. I didn't see it coming. And the position that I was in the car. When I got in the car, I turned like this to talk to her. I never do that. I never turn my full body towards anybody that's driving. Of course, you sit regular. But that morning, I literally was like, girl, yeah, because such and such, or whatever. And when the accident happened, I didn't see it, so I was blacked out. The only thing I remember this man, he was above me, and he was like, ma'am, it's gonna be a loud bang. Ma'am, can you hear me? It's gonna be a loud noise, okay? And I'm like, am I dreaming? What the heck is going on? I wasn't what's it called when you
Conscious.
Yeah, I wasn't conscious. I was blacked out, blood all on my face. I wasn't there, but I heard a man yelling at me. And when he said, it's gonna be a loud bang, it was literally the loudest thing I had ever heard. And it was the jaws of life cutting me out the car. Literally, like, you know. And I'm like, that noise is so loud. And then I felt my body being pulled up from the top because the car was so crushed up on my side that they couldn't just couldn't get me out that car on that side. So I felt my body being lifted up. And then I'm like, okay, am I going to heaven? What is happening? Like, what is going on with my body? And then I remember being in the ambulance, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of it. I'm not conscious, but I just hear noise and people, and I feel scissors cutting my stuff off. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? And the next thing I remember is coming to and seeing my mom walk in the room. And as soon as she walked in the room, she said, the first thing I said was, I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. And from there, it's just, the accident was like, I was 17, so imagine a 17-year-old on a walker. Like, I had to have, so the surgery, I got the metal rod, I got 2 screws up here, a screw down here, and if you notice, it's a laceration down the side of my face. So it was literally split open. And it was so dope. The doctor was like, if you hadn't turned, if you would have stayed straight, you would have died. They said either you would have died or you would have lost your eye. And literally, he said, it was, I don't know how or what made you turn, but he was like, that turn saved your life. And I was like, wow. So that accident was, I didn't feel no pain.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming. I didn't switch up. I didn't see it coming. And so the healing process for that one I couldn't bend my leg either, so my leg was straight. I was even trying to push my leg down. That mug would not go down. Like I would use the bathroom with this. I'm trying to it just was.
That's the worst.
It was terrible. And I remember having to have people take care of me, my mom. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, crying like a baby because it was time for me to get my medicine. And when you ain't got your medicine with an injury like that, you'll be like, please, somebody help me. But yeah, that was the first accident.
Okay, so how did that first accident affect you, like mentally?
Well, mentally, I'm gonna say back then when I was 17, I was like, oh, okay, so I'm not in school, this is my senior year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, am I gonna go to prom? Everybody doing stuff. It's the senior year, and I'm at home in the bed. Like, am I gonna graduate? Cause teachers having to give me my stuff. But my mindset, my dad tells me to this day, he was like, it's crazy because when I was looking at you walking around the house and stuff or trying to walk, he was like, I used to be upset, like, dang, so this is just how my daughter gonna be for the rest of her life. She like, this is just how my daughter is or whatever. And he said it was a moment when he thought that, and I had walked by him, and I told him, I said, Daddy, look, I'm getting a little better. You see, I'm walking a little. And so my mindset never was why me. It was never like, why did this happen to me? Clearly it happened because I wasn't listening. But I never was like depressed or like, I've never taken a stance of why me, and so.
Okay. You can go ahead with the second story.
So the second story was about a year and a half ago, almost. I was walking across the street to go to work, and I looked left. There was no cars coming, and when I kept going, when I turned to look right to see if any cars was coming this way, I couldn't even get out of the way, and I was up in the air. So I literally got hit by a car. Not inside of the car, I was walking.
Right.
And I flew up in the air. I seen myself do flips, and then I hit the ground, and literally when I hit the ground, literally the Holy Spirit said, don't just lay there, sit up. And so I'm like, let me get up. Like, I sat up because I was like, if I die, I do not want to die and laying down. Like, you know how you just like, no. I was like, no, if I'm going to die, I'm about to sit up and then go back over. I don't know what made me want to do that way, but I just was like, no, I'm not about to just lay here and die. So I sat up. And as soon as I sat up, the lady who hit me, she did not run, which was a good thing. Yeah. She got out, she stopped, and it was my coworker, somebody I work with. So she got out the car and was like, oh my God, honey, I didn't see you. You had on all black, and I'm like, oh okay.
She had on all black. I couldn't see.
I didn't
see outside.
And she was like, oh my God, are you okay? And the only thing I could say was, Jesus, I need you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I just kept saying, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Lord, I need you. I need you. I need you. People was walking by talking to me. I don't care what y'all talking about. I just got hit by a car. Right. I'm not trying to have a conversation with you. I can't talk. Right. My life just flashed before me, and I started seeing dots and stars. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm about to die. Like, this is it. Like, this is how India is about to pass away. Like, and when you go through that traumatic experience and you start seeing dots and seeing stuff that you don't normally see, you think that you're going into like.
Did people's voices get light?
Yeah. Yes. The whole thing got different. Like, I don't know if that's shock or what it is, but everything just got weird. And I'm like, okay, so I'm about to die. Yeah. But I didn't die, obviously. But I thought I was, and the fact that I was outside of my job at the hospital, what felt like 5 minutes. I mean, it felt like it was 20 to 30 minutes of them coming, but it was probably only 2 or 3 minutes. But when you land there, I'm like, Bro, we were outside the hospital. Like, how long is it gonna take for them to come and
Like, bend the blocks.
I was like, let's go. So they came.
Bring the stretcher out here. Like, you ain't gotta.
Yes, they came and I remember grabbing my phone and I texted my husband and I said, I've been hit by a car. But I knew he was probably still asleep. So I texted my mom, I said, I've been hit by a car. And she like, what? So the ambulance came, they picked me up, put me in the stretcher, and they took, first of all, I was watching the mugs, and I'm like, okay, so I didn't know what was wrong with me either at that point. So they was like, can you get up? Can you stand up and get, I'm like, no, I can't get up. I don't know why I can't get up. I just know I can't get up off this floor. Off the ground. And so when I was in the ambulance, they started cutting my shoestrings. I had just bought me some Adidas, some fresh
Oh, they need
black.
to cut those. They need to cut those.
Come on now. I had just got some fresh Adidas, and them mugs cut the shoestring straight up down the middle, and like slid the shoe. I'm like, bro, y'all could have just slid it off.
Y'all could have took the shoes
Y'all
off.
should have took the shoestrings out, bro. So I was so mad. Like, I just put these on, and so they cut it off. And when I looked down, my ankle was like tilted, and I'm like, okay, so that mug broke.
Right.
And so when I got to the when they took me to the hospital, they was like, do anything else hurt? And I'm like, yeah, my arm hurt. They looked, my arm was broke. And they was like, anything else hurt? I'm like, my knee hurt.
Man, put me through a whole CAT scan.
Everything,
Put me through a whole machine.
You gotta test everything at this point.
Yeah.
You've been just hit by a car.
Yeah.
You don't know what's.
Yeah.
So my arm was broke. They took me some CAT scans, and my pelvis had some type of injuries. I had bruised knees. I had scratches and scars all over my body. I was bleeding. It was a lot. They had put the neck thing around me. Luckily, nothing was wrong with my neck. But I do remember there was a moment where my husband had came, and it was like, okay, now you're gonna have to excuse her because we are about to give her some medicine that makes her say what's on her heart. So if she say anything, you're gonna have to forgive her.
He goes in the streets.
So he was like, oh no, it's all right. So they gave me the medicine, and it was literally the strongest medicine I had ever. I'm telling you, baby, I was out of there. I wasn't coherent. I didn't know what was going on. And my husband said, all I was doing is worshiping. I was knocked out high in the mug off of whatever they was giving me, and all I was doing was saying, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. And to come back and hear that shows what's in somebody's heart for real. When they speaking and they're not even there. So yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot to the story. That's why.
How did that second accident affect you?
So the second accident to me was way worse than the first one. First of all, the first one I didn't see it coming. The second one I seen it coming. I mean, I seen her, but it was too late for me to react. So I seen her coming, and it affected me because before the accident, I was always running, going to school, going to work, doing lashes, doing hair, trying to hang out with friends, doing ministry, preaching. I just was doing everything, trying to be a wife. I was trying to I was giving 5% to everything in my life. I was not doing 100% of anything. And so to be sat in a bed and to watch your children run around and I can't do nothing. And I'm made to sit here and just try to watch my husband try to pick up the slack. It was hard. It was hard. I think not being able to, and having to go to the bathroom on that doggone commode is terrible. And I hate, I'm sorry, you might have to edit this out.
No, I ain't
That junk is terrible.
No, straight up.
When you gotta use the commode in the living room where your hospital bed is,
Yeah.
I didn't want no company over. Cause if I gotta go to the bathroom, y'all mothers gotta go out the house.
Facts.
I can't go in the bathroom.
Facts.
You know, so that was hard. It was a lot of hard moments.
How long would you say? Because that's a tough thing. I mean, Chop just going through one accident, right?
Yeah.
One situation where he's going through an accident. I'm going through just playing basketball, something that I love doing.
Mm-hmm.
How was it going through both of those things, and when was it the time that you got comfortable? Like you got comfortable in the world, or have you ever gotten back comfortable?
So the first one, matter of fact, the first one, I was at my prime with heels on. Okay, I graduated. I was at prime and everything. So that I feel like was fast for me.
Yeah.
And this one, I mean, it happened 1.5 years ago, and I'm walking. I'm trying to get things back to how I was. I was a dancer at my church, and I haven't as of yet started to dance like I used to.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to fall, do the wrong move. Because when I dance, baby.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna half step nothing. So because I know that I don't want to throw myself off, but I feel like God is healing me to the point where He's gonna be able to allow me to go back into doing some things, but not everything that I was doing.
Yeah.
I was doing too much. And so I feel like He had to sit me down and look at life around me. You gotta sometimes you gotta take a break. You gotta take a break from life. So.
Okay. What would you because we all just spoke about something that we'll remember for the rest of our lives, right?
Yeah.
So what is some advice you can give to somebody that's going through something now, or mentally, maybe they haven't got past the incident and maybe they're still living in that moment? Like, what's something that you could say to them, kind of inspire them or help them get through that time?
I would say time heals. Time is everything, and this too shall pass. I feel like everything happens for a reason. I know that that's cliche, but I feel like God has a purpose for everybody.
Yeah.
And so if I've been through 2 car accidents, been having multiple surgeries, I've been through all of this stuff, and I'm still praising God. I feel like if you have God in your life, I feel like it will help the situation and help your season, help the process a little better. Like it's gonna push you to do better because you know that you have a God that cares about you. And I would say you're not by yourself. Everybody had that somebody.
Yeah.
Everybody had somebody with them. Everybody had somebody that would take care of you. So just appreciating what you do have. You still breathing. If you watching this, you are alive.
Yeah.
And
well.
And
Can I
so
answer that question, Will?
Yep.
if you have your breath, that's enough to keep pushing. If you gotta be in therapy and you gotta go through this, you gotta go through that. Do what you need to do to push yourself, but you're still breathing, so you can do it.
I'm gonna answer that as well. So I agree 100%. The type of person I am, I'm more. I like to face the traumatic experiences. So my first accident, I didn't speak on that whenever it happened on Christmas or whatever like that. But it was in the wintertime. I slid into a wall, bad tires. So no injuries with that one. Following up with that, I was like, I was driving. It was still wintertime. I slid a little bit and my heart started racing. And I was like, oh no, we're not having that. So I went to an empty parking lot at high school and just slid the car. The whole entire back parking lot, just slid it just to get out of that.
Wow.
When I got to my last accident, I was in the back seat of the car going on my way home out of the hospital. I was in the back seat, and I remember my leg was up, and I was looking at the back, and any car that would come behind us to stop, I would just turn around, and I started shaking. I was like, this ain't me. What are you doing? And I kept realizing this. So I'm like, so what I did was, I was like, get out of that. So every time I stopped at a light, I used to look at a car and I used to get nervous. So what I had my homie do was just drive behind me and just jump on the brakes, like just jump. I was like, I'm getting out of that. So I'm more of like a face it to get out of it. Also, once I was able to get into a car from being out of hospital and being out of therapy at home therapy at the crib, my homie was like, I want to get you out the house. I want to get you out the house. I'm like, all right, cool. I can fit in the car now, I guess. So I struggled to get the leg in the car. Once I got the leg in the car, he was like, all right, yeah, we're gonna drive around, you know. I was like, hey, take me to the accident. He was like, what? I'm like, the very first place you want to take me is to the accident.
Yep.
Like, I want to see it. So he was like, bro, are you sure? Like, I don't think. I'm like, what I just say, bro? Like, you want to get me out the house? Take me to the dang accident. Right. So we went past it. Or like, I'm like, no, pull over, stop, like, stop. So I was like, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got out the car. I walked up to the pole. I had my car color was still on the pole and everything like that. They ain't painted. I still had the tire marks in the grass. And I was like picking parts of my car out of the pole, whatever like that. And he was just like, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna have to ride past this spot every day.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get over it the way I feel comfortable getting over it. So I'm like, rip the Band-Aid off, go for it. But that's just me. Everybody's not like that. Like you said, time heals off. Some people, they just need time to relax. I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, but I heard you spoke. You said about your pops, whatever, like that. How it kind of affected him, and like I remember it made me remember. My mom used to say she was crying in the shower. Mm-hmm. She was like, "Cause you can't hear me." Like I'm just like, dang. Then like my bro Roland called me like or texted me like, he's like, bro, he's like every time I see a Mustang, I just get teary eyed, especially if it's red. I'm just like, dang. So I never realized the impact that it had on others or whatever like that. So, but yeah.
Okay. So I just got 2 more questions for y'all, and that's it. So my first question, I'm gonna ask Chop, and then I'm gonna give it to you. Okay. So the first question is, when you hear my walk is different, what's the first thing that popped in your head?
Well, due to me having this injury,
no, for real.
It honestly makes me think of like, okay, obviously, people will have different walks of life, so everybody walk is different. Short, sweet, to the point. Now, with me having this injury, it's like, okay, yeah, literally, I had to go from like walker crutches to actually trying to walk straight up. Yeah. Even walking past mirrors, knowing I'm like limping or slouching, I'm like, no, straight up. Like, come on, like walk through the pain. So it literally had me thinking like, okay, my walk is legit different.
What about you, Andy? What do you think of when you hear my walk is different?
When I hear my walk is different, I think about everybody's path is different. Everybody's testimony is different. We're not gonna all have the same testimony. We're not gonna all go through the same thing. So it might be people that has never been in a car accident, you know, but they still have their own traumatic experiences that has affected them. So that's their walk. And even though we've all been in a surgery room and we've all had injuries, our walks are still different because it affected us different. We're different people. So when I hear my walk is different, it just makes me think that God's plan for me is different than everybody else, and everybody else's plan is different from mine. And it's different, and the fact that my physical walk is really different. Like I mean, I got metal in my entire leg now, like metal in my ankle, metal in my my thigh and my femur.
People be asking about the airport, like walking through.
And it don't go off.
No,
it do not go off. Like
metal detector do not do nothing. Like I'm not gonna walk past a magnet. Just
right.
Okay, so my last question to both of y'all is, how was your walk different?
Well, I view things now in a whole different light than I did before. I'm more observant. I'm realizing that everybody is different. At first, I was kind of like, the reason why I used to get into a lot of arguments is because of the way I used to think and the way I used to like talk to people. I never wanted people to just feel like it was tunnel vision to a solution. Like I always wanted to give people different, perspectives and like look at it from this way. Now you can still have your own opinion at the end of the day, but just look at it from this way. And as I got older, due to accident and everything like that, it kind of made me realize, okay, I can present that differently now, and it causes less arguments. And because now it's not like I'm not going against you. Right. I just want you to view like there's other ways you can get the pole other than 2 + 2. So,
okay. Yeah. What about you?
My walk is different because the Lord has slowed me all the way down. I'm walking to less places and doing less things. So
keep saying.
For real. Like I'm not running like I used to. I'm not doing all of this. I'm not doing all of that. God literally has me at home. Like I'm being a wife. I'm giving 100% as a wife. I'm being 100% as a mother and 100% in ministry. I'm not doing all of the extra. So my walk is different. I'm literally walking different. Like, I'm not doing the same things anymore. And I mean, it's different because my mindset is different. Like, when trauma happens to you, it's like a maturity thing. It matures your mind. Like, it makes you think. It makes you think about things in a different light. Like, you know, like, okay, I'm going through this, but there's way more worse things that I could be going through. Like, I just went through a really traumatic experience. So what I might be going through now is not even as bad as what I've been through. And the fact that we have been through it, it just shows that even though your walk is different, you still walking.
Like, I feel like if it wasn't for the accident, I probably wouldn't have picked up the camera as soon as I did.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have been, because it literally sat, like she said, it sat me down to the point where I was just sitting there like, okay, this may be a sign. Like, what do you need to do? Like, maybe you need to focus on you. You run around helping everybody else. Yeah. Take some time for yourself to help you out. So it kind of like, everything just kind of fell into place.
If I can add, right the day before the accident, I was doing lashes at the shop, and I went outside to go drive to go get something to eat before my last client. And when I went in there and I turned the key, that mug would not start. I'm like, what the heck? And I looked, I said, oh no, I ain't got no gas. So I literally had to ask my next client boyfriend, can you go get some gas? And he had to go get the thing, put the gas. He had to do the whole thing. And then the next day I get hit by a car and all of this, and I'm in the bed and can't go nowhere. And I just took it like, I was like, yo, gas is out. You ain't got no gas. You can't go nowhere with no gas.
You know what? Wow. Okay, so I just realized, well, I realized it before, but when you said that, kind of made me think about it again. Me and Brandon had a studio appointment earlier that day, and Truth Equipment wouldn't work. And like, we was sitting there trying to get to work, and he was like, man, just come back tomorrow. I'm like, all right, bet. I went home, got on the game, and I was like, I'm about to make a trip real quick. I was gonna go OT, and I was gonna come right back. And on the way OT, that's when it happened. I should just stay up. Nah, but yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was just no gas. I ain't had no gas. Gas was like, yeah, I'm gonna show you no gas. You running too much. You doing too much. You going to all these places. You need to sit it on down.
Yeah. So I wanted to say that I'm glad that my accident happened. A lot of people, we say it. A lot of people don't agree when they go through stuff, but I felt like going through the accident helped me, because when you went through your accident, I was able to, assist and call and try to uplift you. Same thing with you.
Too.
Same thing with you. And I know vice versa, it would have been the same way. So it allowed me to hold on to something in a season that I didn't think I needed to use it. So I thank God for allowing me to do it. 'Cause just like Chop was saying, we wanted, if anybody had to go through it, we rather ourselves go through it before any one of our friends or somebody else had to go through it. And I was the perfect sacrifice in that sense of going through something to get somebody else through it or help them. So you may not know when or what you're going through, when you may be able to pull from and use it, but God allows us to go through things and get through things to be a blessing to somebody else and be just a voice to somebody else that may need it. I just want to let y'all know that I appreciate y'all for, it's not easy. It's not easy to stand in front of a camera and tell people about one of your darkest days and allow people to see inside your life and what was your mind, because my mind was everywhere. My mind didn't just hop to, okay, it's a blessing. I'm sure that I have my dark days. I have my days where I was going through excruciating pain. Man, and
I was like, shoot, it should have just took me out. Like, it should just like, if I can live with it, facts. Go ahead and take me out of here. Like,
facts. So when you going through stuff like that, if I didn't have God to lean on, I don't know where I would be, mentally, because once your mind goes, everything else it can go right along with it. So the fact that He allowed me to sit in a bed and be confined to a bed for 3 to 4 months, and then doctors telling me that it'd take me almost a year to walk again, and I walked in half of that. Yeah. It's only a testament. You feel me? It's only a testament to God, because I was being hard-headed. I'm not gonna lie. Doctor told me not to stand up and put no pressure on that at all because it's a possibility that the screw could break, and once it breaks, it's hard for them to get out. So he told me that, and I remember waking up every day, giving it at least 5 to 10 minutes every day of walking, putting pressure on it, and that was only God giving me the will, and it was only His grace that allowed me not to go through a breaking of a screw in me and have to go through that again, because I had 2 surgeries, and then have to go back for another one for them to have to try to take it out would have been a crazy time in my life. So I appreciate that. So I want to thank y'all again for for being here and saying that, because there's a lot of people out there that need to hear that from people and don't hear it from people, and they think that believers don't go through nothing. Exactly. So for you to have an accident twice, and you've been a believer all that time, it's not like you just got to that. So we're not exempt from those things happening to us, and it's a blessing that we get another day, another chance to kind of get things right and tell our story to people. So, honey, can you hand me those bags?
We get gifts?
Yeah. So
it's Christmas. No.
So these slides.
Hey.
Got some for y'all.
Thank you.
I know you said your favorite color is orange top.
Oh my God.
I tried to get India her favorite color, but we ain't expanded to that yet. So
it's all right. I appreciate
it.
it.
Pink, I want to swag it out.
Yeah, so I just want to give y'all, just something as a token of appreciation for one of the
Please tell me.
and we all set apart.
Come
so
on.
these are,
I'm about to cry.
So these are our set apart slides. Because we all, like you said, the brand is Milwaukee is different, so we all are different, and we all are set apart.
He's tough.
So
okay, I'm about to walk outside with these. Y'all see, I'm fired.
Playing with me.
So yeah, now I want to conclude the interview. I appreciate y'all for watching us. I appreciate y'all for giving me y'all ears, and make sure y'all stay tuned to future interviews with My Walk is Different. And make sure that y'all continue to support the brand. Follow us on everything at My Walk is Different. Go on my website, www.mywalkisdifferent. I got more content coming. I have a summer line that's coming out soon, doing socks, doing active wear for women and men. So just make sure y'all support the brand and whenever y'all can. And it's not only for Christians, it's for anybody who wants to have an inspiring, has an inspiring story or wants to be an inspiration to people. And it's meant to give people that inspiration to help them understand that my walk doesn't have to be your walk, and we still have common ground that we can come together and still meet on some type of level. So although people may be different, we all the same in different ways. So just wanted to say that to y'all, and want to make sure that y'all stay encouraged and make sure that y'all know who y'all belong to. So I thank God for giving us this platform and giving me this business and giving me these ideas and giving me people that I could bring forward to y'all to give y'all these dope interviews and stories. So just thank y'all, and I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
I got something to lose, something to prove. You think you can do what I do, then walk in my shoes. You think you can do what I do, then walk in my shoes. Yeah, y'all barely move, I'm kinda confused. I got something to lose and something to prove. You think you can do what I do, then walk in my shoes. You think you can do what I do, then